Dream of the Red Chamber, Chapter 25.
We start with these quiet emotional threads running through the house. It's all just the setup for the explosion, really.
Yeah, let's unpack that. It all begins with a maid, Red Jade, or Hong Yu. She's feeling troubled because she just dreamt of Jia Yun.
And in the dream, he was trying to hold her hand.
Right. And these tiny, fleeting moments of desire are so important because they show you just how unstable the household hierarchy actually is.
And the interesting part is how Bao Yu reacts. He saw her the day before. He's a bit distracted thinking about her, but he won't call for her directly. Why? I find that caution so strange for someone in his position.
Because it's basically a microeconomic decision about reputation.
Reputation.
Yeah. If he elevates Red Jade out of nowhere, he risks, upsetting his main established maids, people like Xiren. They have seniority. They have power.
Oh, okay.
And even more than that, he's worried about her character. What if she's not suitable? Then he's undermined his own little staffing structure and created years of awkwardness.
So his affections are a kind of capital, and he can't afford to make a bad investment.
That's it, exactly.
Yeah.
His privilege is actually constrained by his need to keep order.
And you see that constraint in action almost immediately. Red Jade gets sent on an errand to Lin Dayu's place.
To get a watering can. And she sees Jia Yun, the guy from her dream, sitting right there.
But she can't approach him.
No. The text is really clear. She dares not approach him. That gap, social and physical, that's the invisible architecture of the whole house.
So if that's the quiet desire, let's look at what happens when that desire turns into, well, a political rivalry with Jia Huan.
That's a perfect transition.
Yeah.
Because the main family is out at a birthday party, but Lady Wang stays home.
And she decides to give her other son, Jia Huan, a pious task, copying the Diamond Sutra.
Right, and Jia Huan is he's the ultimate embodiment of resentment, the concubine's son, always living in Baiyu's shadow.
He comes home from school, and he's immediately demanding, he wants tea, he wants the lamp wick trimmed.
He's complaining a maid is blocking his light, and the maids, well, they really can't stand him.
Except for one, Kaixia, who's noted as being sort of friendly, and she makes the mistake of giving him advice.
She tells him to be less troublesome.
And that kind of just goes toxic immediately.
Instantly. Jia Huan, who is just fueled by this deep status envy, accuses her of preferring Baoyu now. And that's the match hitting the powder keg.
It's not just about inheritance anymore. It's about who a single servant likes more.
Precisely. The stage is set.
And then Baoyu gets back. He's hot from wine. He throws himself into Lady Wang's lap, seeking all the affection that Jia Huan never gets.
He's showing it off, really. He's relaxed. He's playful. He asks Kaixia to pat him. He's joking around trying to pull her hand.
But she's not responding.
No, her eyes are fixed on Jia Huan. She knows she's in trouble just for talking to him earlier.
And Jia Huan sees this. He sees Baoyu touching the only maid who showed him any kindness, and that just pushes him right over the edge.
The motivation is pure, jealous vengeance.
His action is so swift and so terrifying, but it's framed as, what, an accident?
That's the crucial part. The text says he's deliberately feigning a slip. He pushes the hot, oil-soaked wax lamp right at Baoyu's face.
He was trying to blind him.
It's an act of desperation. He wanted to cripple his rival for good.
Thankfully, his eyes are okay. He's just scalded on the side of his face. But the household is thrown into chaos.
Total terror.
But Lady Wang's reaction, it's so telling. Her fury isn't really at Jia Huan, the attacker. It's at his mother, Zhao Yinyang.
Yes. She calls him a black-hearted, ignorant, low-born seed.
Why does the blame shift to the concubines so fast?
Because the attack, for all its violence, is basically a political inconvenience. Lady Wang has to contain the scandal.
Right, she can't just destroy her husband's other son in public.
Exactly. So by shifting the blame to Zhao Yinyang, she externalizes the malice. It's not a failure of her family or her parenting. It's the predictable evil of the concubine class infecting her perfect home.
And Feng Ji, Wang Shifeng, jumps right in to back that up, mocking Jia Huan and saying his mother is to blame for his bad manners.
They're locking down the political narrative before the oil has even cooled. It's incredible.
But in the middle of all this, Baoyu's own reaction is, it's to protect people. He tells his grandmother he burned himself, trying to keep everyone else out of trouble.
It's a really interesting contrast. His instinct is forgiveness, but he can't stop the system of blame. Jia Mu still scolds his attendants for being careless.
And we get that little moment of real emotion when Dayu visits him.
He tries to hide his face because he knows about her famous obsession with cleanliness. He thinks the wound and the medicine will repulse her.
But she insists on looking. She forces his hand away and comforts him.
It's a beautiful moment. It shows their bond is stronger than her neuroses. Her fastidiousness just melts away when he's really hurt.
But that vulnerability, that injury, has created this enormous anxiety for the older generation, especially Jiamu.
And that anxiety is now ripe for exploitation.
Right on cue. The next day, Ma Doko shows up. She's Baiyu's godmother and a sorceress.
And she sees the burn and just dismisses the whole accident story. She immediately reframes it. This wasn't an accident, she says. This was a flying disaster, a fizai.
This is where it gets really strange.
This is where human drama becomes a cosmic balance sheet. Ma Dopo is a very, very shrewd operator, and she delivers this bizarre but perfectly tailored diagnosis.
So tell us about this diagnosis. Why does it work so well for a family like this?
Well, she claims that children from princely and noble families are followed by these niggling ghosts. Kuchiji.
Niggling ghosts.
Yeah. And these spirits are always harassing them, tripping them up, knocking over their food, pinching them. So her conclusion is that this external spiritual sabotage is why aristocratic kids often get sick or have these sudden accidents.
What's brilliant about that from her perspective is how it shifts responsibility. If the problem is just Jiahuan's jealousy, then the parents are to blame for bad household management.
Exactly.
But if it's niggling ghosts, the blame is on some supernatural force that only an expert and money can fix. It completely removes their accountability.
It turns a human crisis into a solvable transactional cosmic problem. And Jiamu just eats it up. She immediately asks, is there any Buddhist law to resolve this?
And the solution isn't just, simple prayer. It's a high-cost spiritual investment.
A very high cost.
Yeah.
It requires accumulating merit, and specifically worshiping the great brightness, all-illuminating bodhisattva.
Okay.
But here's the hook. This bodhisattva isn't just a concept. It's manifest in a physical object. A large sea lamp, a heideng, that has to burn day and night.
So spiritual protection requires a contract for high-quality oil.
You've got it. This is the economics of piety, and the cost is measured by your social standing.
She gives them a price list.
She's an amazing saleswoman. She gives them a list of her other clients to create this sense of like a competitive luxury. The Nanan prince's consort, she's at 48 caddies of oil a day. The Jintian marquis's wife is at 24.
Wow. And it goes down from there.
Yep. Lesser families do 5, 3, or 1 caddy. It's a totally scalable business model built on status anxiety.
She's selling their own anxiety back to them.
And she's smart about it too. She actually advises them against spending too much on Baiyu, saying it might fold his fortune.
Which is just a clever way to make the commitment seem manageable and sustainable.
It guarantees her a recurring revenue stream. It's brilliant.
So Jiamu agrees. Ma de Oppo suggests 5 or 7 caddies a day, and Jiamu settles on 5, calculated monthly.
And just like that, the family's deep anxiety about their heir becomes a lucrative ongoing contract for a sorceress.
And the spending doesn't even stop there?
No, Jiamu triples down. She tells the attendants to give Baiyu's servants money to hand out to monks and the poor every single time he leaves the house.
So they have to constantly, publicly signal their piety and their wealth.
It's not enough to be protected privately by the lamp. You have to perform your good deeds for everyone to see.
And then
The text just plunges us right in, no warning, into this dark world where resentment is being, manufactured. We start with Zhao Granny, or Aunt, and the source immediately grounds us in her status, or lack of it.
Oh, absolutely. What's so fascinating is that the text doesn't just tell you she's low status. It uses these precise, almost visceral details. When we find her, she's not, reading or something.
Yeah.
She's making shoes, gluing them. And when her visitor asks about her materials, she points to this sad little pile of scraps and leftovers.
And that detail is followed up with that sigh, where she says, good material cannot reach my hands. That one line is just, it's a perfect economic barometer.
Yeah.
She is literally confined to the physical leftovers of the house.
Which tells you she's spiritually, socially, financially, all of it. She's at the bottom.
And this lack of status is the engine that drives the entire plot forward. She immediately brings up her money worries when the sorceress, Ma Dao Po, shows up.
Yeah, she mentions the 500 kan, which is a really small amount of cash that she sent for an offering. And she sighs that she just can't afford regular offerings. Her spiritual life is as meager as her sewing scraps.
Exactly. 500 kan is pocket change in a house this wealthy. But for her, it's a struggle. Her only real hope seems to be that her son, Huan, will somehow get an official post way down the line.
And that's the pivot. The conversation goes from just poverty to this raw, unbridled bitterness. Zhao starts complaining that her little branch of the family just cannot keep up, especially since Bao Yu, the main heir, showed up.
She calls him a living dragon, so she acknowledges his status, but then her anger shifts to someone else.
This is where it gets really good. She holds up 2 fingers, and when Ma Dou-po asks for confirmation, could it be Lian or Nai Nai?
And Zhao just panics.
Who's completely panics, shushing her, checking the door. The fear around just saying that name is so real. And Lian or Nai Nai is Wang Shifeng, or Fengji. For you listening, you have to understand her role. She is the household's effective CEO and CFO. She handles the money, the administration, the social calendar, everything.
And she does it with this brilliant, ruthless efficiency.
So of course she's the ultimate power broker. And that's why she is Zhao's primary target.
And the accusation Zhao makes.
Yeah.
It's just venomous. She whispers that if this family property isn't all secretly sent to her maternal home by her, I am not a human being.
Which is a crucial point.
Yeah.
Is the source saying Wang Shifeng is actually embezzling? It doesn't say. But the belief, this powerful delusion that's just fueled by Zhao's envy, that's enough.
She sees Wang Shifeng as the direct cause of her own poverty.
That's the justification for the secret plotting. The sorceress Ma Dou-po, she sort of pretends at first, oh, it's a sin to talk about such things.
Right, but she's not very convincing.
Not at all. She's easily persuaded when Zhao proposes this massive reward.
And this is where the desperation becomes, mathematically concrete. Zhao says if the black magic works and the 2 Wang Shifeng and Bao Yu are destroyed, her son Huan gets everything.
And at that point, the sorceress can have anything she wants. But promises are cheap, The sorceress wants proof, real commitment.
And Zhao delivers. She empties her entire personal savings.
Yeah.
Little bits of silver, clothing, hairpins she'd saved up. But that's not even the real price.
No, the ultimate price is paper. She writes a formal IOU, a bond, promising 500 liang of silver. This isn't pocket change. This is a staggering, life-altering amount of money.
Just to put that in perspective for you, the 500 liang she's promising is 1,000 times the little 500 keen offering she was just struggling to afford.
It's insane. She's committing to a debt 1,000 times her disposable income.
All based on the hope of some paper ghosts.
Right.
She's not just buying magic, she's mortgaging her son's entire future, everything, on this one roll of the dice. The IOU signed with her handprint. It proves that for the powerless, the only thing you have left to trade is future hope on paper.
And the sorceress, who is a very savvy businesswoman,
Clearly.
she accepts the silver, sure, but she puts that massive IOU away first. Only then does she bring out the tools. And they're so visual and chilling. 10 paper-cut ghosts with blue faces and white hair, and 2 plain paper figures.
And the instructions for the ritual are terrifyingly simple. Right? The victim's Lelian Jengbaz, their year, month, day, and hour of birth on the figures. Hide them with 5 ghosts each under their beds.
That detail, the Yunjang Bazi, it's not just magic stuff. It's a commentary on the intimacy of betrayal. Zhao, who can't even afford good fabric, still has access to the most private, protected information about her target.
Their birth data.
It shows that knowledge, maybe even more than money, is the real currency of malice in this place.
So, okay. Zhao has paid every penny she has, mortgaged her future for a massive debt, and gotten the ultimate black weapon, all because of envy and poverty.
An act of absolute desperation documented in legal language.
And then that moment of darkness is just shattered. We go from paper ghosts and debt to a world so bright and carefree, it's jarring. Just as the deal is done, a maid calls Zhao away, and the text yanks us into a scene of total refinement.
It's a masterful shift. It forces you to just completely recalibrate. We find Lin Daiyu bored after reading, and she wanders into this high society gathering. The atmosphere couldn't be more different from Zhao's dark little room.
We see the whole elite crew, Bao Yu, Feng Jiwang, Xifengli Weikai, and Bao Chai. And for you listening, remember, this is that famous love triangle dynamic. Bao Yu is there with the 2 women he's sort of caught between. And the conversation, it's not about debt, it's about tea.
The tea discussion is an immediate status check. They're talking about tea Fenji sent to Daiyu. Bao Yu, the ultimate connoisseur, says it's not very good.
And Bao Chai, always the pragmatist, agrees. The taste is light, the color is not good.
But then comes the real shocker. Fengji just casually reveals the tea was Siamese tribute tea.
Tribute tea.
This is the highest level of international luxury. It's meant for royalty, and she has so much of it she's bored by it. She prefers her own daily drink.
It's the ultimate display of effortless superiority. She's not just rich. She's so powerful that the highest level of luxury is just a casual thing in her daily life. She's setting the standard of taste for everyone.
And that comfort level, that intimacy, leads right into that famous, witty exchange. Dayu makes a little joke about being bossed around because she took the tea.
And Fengji, who has the sharpest wit in the entire novel, does not miss a beat. She comes back with, "Since you drank our family's tea, why haven't you become our family's daughter-in-law?"
And everyone just erupts in laughter.
But this joke it's so serious. Dayu is mortified, blushing, calling her cheap-tongued, annoying. But think about that joke. It completely changes the temperature in the room. It turns light banter into high-stakes political theater.
She's publicly endorsing Dayu as a match for the heir.
Right. She's the ultimate power broker. And she's solidifying the relationship dynamics. She even follows up by listing all Bao Yu's qualifications: his looks, his status, family assets.
She's basically giving her official administrative stamp of approval to the match.
And then the two worlds collide violently. Zhao Yinyang and another concubine arrive to pay respects to Bao Yu, just as Dayu is trying to escape. And you see status quantified right there and who gets recognized.
It's so clear. Li Kekai, Bao Yu, Bao Chai, they all offer polite gestures, offer them seats. But Wan Shifeng, who is just so witty and engaged,
She freezes them out.
completely. The source is so explicit. It says she keeps talking and laughing with Dayu, not even looking at them.
That pointed public indifference.
Yeah.
That is the entire source of Zhao's pain. It's not just that Fengji is rich, it's that she wields her status like a weapon, making Zhao literally invisible. She doesn't have to insult her.
She just has to deny her existence.
And the scene wraps up by just hammering Fengji's favor home one more time. The group gets called away, and Bao Yu tries to make Dayu stay. But before leaving, Fengji physically pushes Dayu back towards Bao Yu.
Cementing her support for the match before she walks out, escorted by the highest-ranking staff.
So we have this perfect, devastating contrast. One side, a dark room, a crippling 500 Lang debt on paper, fueled by scraps, a plot against the living dragon.
And on the other side, sophisticated banter over Siamese tribute tea, casual matchmaking, and the effortless exercise of power through, well, witty indifference.
The whole thing just centers completely on Wang Shifeng. She is the bitter subject of Zhao's plot, accused of massive theft and targeted for magical elimination.
Yet at the same time, she represents the absolute pinnacle of wit and confidence. She's the one who can reject international luxury, ignore those beneath her, and dictate social possibilities with a single joke.
She is both the most vulnerable target of the marginalized and the most secure, dominant figure of the entire establishment.
And then,
Bao Yu is just having a normal moment, laughing and teasing Lin Dayu.
bam! He clutches his head, says he has a terrible headache. But it's not just pain, is it? It gets violent fast.
Really fast, he shouts, "I want to die!" And the source says he literally leaps, 3 or 4 feet into the air?
Yeah, it just jumps straight up and starts speaking complete nonsense. Utter gibberish. Dayu and the maids are, of course, terrified. They run for help.
But before they can even really process what's happening with Bao Yu, this whole other crisis just erupts.
Sister Feng.
Yeah, Sister Feng enters the picture, and she's wielding a shining steel knife.
I mean, this is not a domestic spat. This is an outright rampage. The source is very clear. She's killing any chicken, any dog she sees.
And threatening people. She's shouting that she's going to kill anyone she wants to kill.
It's terrifying. The whole garden, the text says, becomes like tangled hemp. Total confusion.
And all the high-ranking women, GMO, Wang Furen, they all come rushing in. But it takes, actual brute force to stop her?
Oh, yeah. A group of strong wives, led by Zhu Rui's wife, they have to physically overpower her, wrestle the knife away, and drag her back to her rooms.
Amid all this panic, though, if you zoom in on certain people, their reactions are really telling, like Zhu Pan.
Right. He's usually seen as this, clumsy oaf. But here, his actions are incredibly focused. He's not just running around screaming.
No, he's frantically trying to protect his female relatives from the crush of people.
And this is where it gets so interesting, because even in a crisis like this, the social anxieties are just paramount. He's not just worried his mom will get shoved.
He's terrified that his sister, Bao Chai, will be seen.
Exactly. Seen by men. For a woman of her status, that would be a catastrophic loss of face, a stain on her reputation.
He knows who he's dealing with, too.
Yeah.
The source says he knows Jiazin's crowd are focused on women, meaning they might, take advantage of the chaos.
He's being the perfect, hyper-vigilant older brother.
Yeah.
But then Then you get this incredibly human little detail.
Right in the middle of all this protective frenzy,
Yeah.
he just stops, freezes.
He literally swoons. The source uses that word. Because he catches a glimpse of Lin Daiyu's grace right there in the middle of all the chaos and violence.
So even with spiritual death and mayhem all around, these basic human drives, desire, social rules, they just take over for a second.
It's an amazing moment, and it sort of hints at the real nature of this whole affliction. Because the family, they realize this isn't a normal sickness.
Not at all. And they start throwing everything they can think of at the problem.
A total mix of medicine and, well, superstition. They call for sorcerers to banish evil, witches to dance and pray.
Even the famous Taoist Zhang Zanren from the Jade Emperor's Pavilion.
They try all sorts of medical treatment, prayers, divination, and appeals to gods. They try everything.
Which suggests they knew right from the start this wasn't just a fever.
I think so. The symptoms were too extreme, too sudden, and the fact that it hit both Bao Yu, the sensitive one, and Feng Ji, the tough-as-nails pragmatist, that had to feel supernatural.
But nothing worked. They just got worse.
Yep. They felt unconscious, their bodies burning up like coals, still just rambling nonsense.
And it created a whole logistical problem, too. The servants were too scared to go near them.
The maids and wives, it says, didn't dare step forward, so they had to move both of them into Wang Furen's upper room.
They set up guards, right, in rotating shifts.
Jie Yun and his people watched them through the night, but by day 3, the despair is just total. They're preparing burial clothes.
They were described as nearly out of breath, almost gone.
And this despair, it really highlights a deep split between the brothers Jie Shi and Jie Zheng.
Jie Shi, the older one, is still desperately trying to do something. He's running around looking for more monks, more Taoists.
While Jie Zheng, Bao Yu's father, has kind of reached this point of grim acceptance, he basically says the number of children you have is determined by heaven.
It's fate. We have to accept it.
For a family like this where a son is everything, that's the ultimate surrender.
And then on the 4th morning, when all hope is pretty much gone, we get this incredibly emotional climax.
Bao Yu wakes up just for a moment. He looks right at his grandmother.
And he says, I will not be in your house anymore. I'm leaving.
It's just heartbreaking. And of course, Zhao Yinyang, his father's concubine, who absolutely despises him, she sees an opportunity.
She uses the moment to be as cruel as possible. She says, essentially, oh, well, let's dress him in his burial clothes now then. It'll make his trip to the next life easier.
And Jia Mu, who's already at her breaking point, she just explodes.
This is pure, raw, matriarchal fury. She spits on her, curses her, calls her a rotten-tongued, wicked woman.
But it's her actual accusation that's so important. She links this cruelty to the constant pressure on Bao Yu.
She blames you wicked women for always hounding him to study, to conform.
And she says that pressure, that constant demand for him to be someone he's not, is what caused this. It literally scared the soul out of his body.
It's an amazing moment where she blames the social pressure itself for this spiritual collapse. Well, outside you can literally hear carpenters building the coffins.
And just as everything is at its absolute worst, they hear a sound.
A wooden fish drum. Soft, but clear. And then a chant.
Namaji Wanye Bodhisattva, the bodhisattva who resolves karma and bad deeds.
And the chant specifically offers to help those suffering from, domestic discord, household decline, danger, or evil possession.
It's a perfect match. Jia Mu immediately says to bring them in. Even the skeptical Jia Zhang is stunned they could even be heard inside the compound.
And when they appear, they're not ordinary people.
Not at all. The descriptions are incredible. You have the blemished monk with a nose like a hanging gall, these super long eyebrows, eyes like stars, sores on his head.
And the Leng Taoist, who's even stranger, 1 foot high, 1 low, covered in mud, and he says he's from this mythical place west of the weak waters of Penglai.
These aren't your local temple monks. They're from another realm entirely.
And the monk just cuts right to the chase. He ignores Jia Zheng's questions and says the house already has a rare treasure of the world.
Jia Zheng, a bit confused, brings up the spiritual jade. He says it hasn't been working, it's not effective anymore.
And this is it. This is the core diagnosis.
The monk explains exactly why it failed. He says it's because Bao Yu was deceived or lost by sensual pleasures and materialism or profit.
So the sacred object, the thing meant to protect him, has basically been contaminated.
Contaminated by the very worldliness.
So Jia Zheng hands over the jade. The monk holds it, he sighs, and says it's been 13 years since the stone left Green Ridge Peak.
He then delivers this prophecy, these 2 rhyming stanzas that chart the jade's entire journey.
Let's break those down. The first one is about its original state, right? Before it came to the mortal world.
Yes. Bound by neither heaven nor earth, no joy nor sorrow in the heart. It was pure, perfect, until it chose to come seek out right and wrong in the human world. That choice was the beginning of the fall.
And the second stanza is about the present, the reason for the sickness.
It's stained by powder and grease, fouling the precious light. It's trapped in a mortal dream of luxury and passion. And the only way out, the only way to awaken, is for the karma or wrongdoing to be repaid.
The illness itself is the repayment.
Exactly. The illness is the mechanism.
So the cure isn't medicine. It's a ritual, a re-sanctification.
The monk hands the jade back, now divine again, and gives them very specific instructions. They have to hang it on the upper threshold of the bedroom.
And put both Bao Yu and Feng Ji in that same room together.
But then comes the most critical restriction. He says, other than their immediate wife and mother, no yin people should contaminate it.
Let's pause on that. Yin people here basically just means women.
It does, and it sounds harsh, but it's completely logical with the diagnosis. He just said the jade was stained by powder and grease.
Which is code for the sensual, worldly, feminine yin energy of the red chamber.
Precisely. So to restore its purity, the jade, and by extension, Bao Yu needs to be temporarily separated from that source of contamination. It's a spiritual reset.
They promise recovery in 33 days. And then, before anyone can thank them or offer them money or tea, they're just gone.
Vanished, without a trace.
And the family follows the instructions to the letter. They move the patients, hang the jade, set the guard.
And the recovery is immediate. It doesn't take 33 days.
No, that very same night, Bao Yu and Feng Ji gradually woke up. And the first thing they both do.
They say they're hungry, they ask for food.
It's so human. The family is overcome with relief. They boil them some rice soup, and it says peace finally returns to the household.
But while that relief is happening inside the room, we get this great little scene of the crowd waiting outside the door.
A peanut gallery.
Yeah, I've got Lin Dayu, Bao Chai, all the maids waiting for news.
And when they hear that the patients are awake and asking for food, Lin Dayu is the first to react. She just sighs with relief. Amitabha Buddha.
A very pious, heartfelt reaction. But then Bao Chai, who is always watching for an opening.
She sees her chance. She turns, laughs, and makes this incredibly cutting remark.
She basically mocks Dayu's piety. She says the Buddha must be very busy these days, not only teaching and saving souls and curing Bao Yu and Feng Ji.
But now he also has to manage Miss Lin's marriage or destiny.
Oof, it's a direct hit. She's twisting Dayu's relief into a jab about her hopeless romantic prospects, implying only a literal Buddha could sort out her love life.
And Dayu's reaction is just as predictable. She blushes, she spits, she calls them all horrible people for imitating Sister Feng's sarcastic, rotten tongue.
And then she storms out. A very dramatic end to a miraculous day.